It's Epstein season. This could be the end of the Trump administration because this is going to run the media for a long time. I've done my warning against this. I believe it's a Democrat psyop.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given. But it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
However, I am going to defend the victims, talk about the victims, give you every piece of news that you need to know about Epstein, even though I'm telling you the context is this is a Democrat operation. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. This is proof that I give you the news, that you can subscribe. You're not going to miss out on everything, even if I think this is a giant Democrat operation. I think there are facts that we need to address. And I'll also make my case the whole time on what media is doing with the Epstein investigation. This is going to start with Rep. Paulina, who I think is wonderful, beautiful, an incredible MAGA patriot, and wrong on the Epstein files. Here she is on the latest of, they brought in 6 major victims. We'll hear from all of them in this show also. And they gave their testimony, and she's going to tell you how my theory, which is not one new factoid, has been presented to the public. Watch.
Well, there's 33,000 pages that have been released. I have to at least look over some of them. I'd like to get through all of them before I decide whether or not I'm going to do that. But I think that they've basically released everything except for the victim information, which obviously we don't release that. One thing to note that today when we were actually talking to some of the victims, one of the women stated that at 14, when Epstein started to victimize her, that she has no recollection of some of the stuff that was done to her. She's hoping to find that out so that she can actually bring it to her therapist and continue the healing process.
Okay, this is a victim that has no knowledge even what Epstein has done. This sounds like there's a lot of kind of, my feeling is it feels like an E. Jean Carroll thing. The victim blocked everything out. She can't wait to get the information come out so she can remember and bring it to her therapist. This is all Democrat language, guys.
So what they're trying to do with the Epstein hoax is get people to talk about that instead of speaking about the tremendous success like ending 7 wars. I ended 7 wars. Nobody's going to talk about because they're going to talk about the Epstein whatever. I understand that we were subpoenaed to give files, and I understand we've given thousands of pages of files. And I know that no matter what you do, it's going to keep going. And I think it's enough because I think we should talk about the greatness of our country and the success that we're having. I think we're probably having, according to what I read, even from 2 people in this room, we're having the most successful 8 months of any president ever. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what we should be talking about, not the Epstein hoax.
More of Anna Paulina, but she admits, Anna Paulina goes, they don't know anything. They don't have the actual thing that they're looking for. They're hoping it's going to come in these 33,000 pages of documents.
The damage and the trauma that was caused to her. So, but from what I'm being told, from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of very wealthy, bad people. It's actually scary to hear some of the stuff that was brought forward. And so I think the only way to collectively attack this is as a group and as a whole, meaning that Democrats and Republicans have to work together and back home our subpoenas. Because
that's Anna Paulina saying you will work with Democrats. Democrats have one agenda. They do not care about victims. They want to destroy Trump. We already know that. And here's one of the top MAGA people saying we're going to work with Democrats in the name of the children, in the name of the victims. I don't buy it at all. Not one new factoid. She goes, the things that I've heard, she's heard, that's not evidence. And I'm a skeptic. I want hard evidence.
I think this is going to be pretty hairy.
Is there more information beyond these 33,000 pages?
Well, there's going to be names. The attorneys kept emphasizing you need to follow up on the names. These girls are not just making this up. These are some of the wealthiest people probably in the world. And we'll start from there.
So
these are probably the wealthiest people in all of the world. That kind of language just bugs me. Probably. Is it or not? Name them. I already have all the list of names. All the princes and all the royalty. Same rumors. she still hasn't gotten one piece of hard evidence to bring to you, the public, on this thing. What this really is supposed to get you off on, we're going to finally get the wealthiest people in the world. We're going to get them. I'm all for getting them, all for it. But there's a reason why this has been dead for a long time. But now, just so you know, this is being politicized today. It is to take the camera off of Trump's accomplishments and get all of media on this scandal. By the way, everyone's over the trans shooter shooting 2 Catholic kids. That's last week's thing. Off it. It's now Epstein season.
Individual people that are part of this.
Apparently, in these files that just dropped, I have not been able to look over all the files again. There's 33.
I'm talking about the meeting. In the meeting,
I haven't looked at the files, but apparently I know what's in them.
There are some people named, yes.
were there any public officials that they named?
No, but very, very wealthy people have been named.
Can you name them?
They told us not to because they don't want those people to start basically burning files. So I think this is going criminal investigation for sure. I will say that what's been released, obviously the American people have wanted for a long time. Kudos to the DOJ for getting it to us. I know that some of the delay was due to redacting victim information, and so we'll see where it goes from here.
The DOJ did not get it to us. And she's kind of blaming, that's Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel. I'll give a defense of them too. And then she goes, oh, and because they're trying to protect the victims, which is really why this thing was not going to go forward. Here's more of Anna Paula Luna. I'm going to hear from all sides on this thing by the end of this video, guys. Here's Anna.
The biggest thing that stands out to me is the victims themselves have stated that this is a lot bigger than I think anyone anticipated. We are obviously going to be requesting the SARS reports from Treasury, and also too, following up on that. There's some very rich and powerful people that need to go to jail. I think everyone's been frustrated as to why that hasn't happened before. But it is very...
That's just my chat about everything, though. The public in general is angry that no one goes to jail. Almost no one ever goes to jail. Only Trump went to jail. Justice is slow. Do you know why? Because they have to go through 33,000 documents. And this is 25 years after the case. And no one cared about it until it was very good to roll this thing out and stomp all over Trump's agenda.
Much so possibility that Jeffrey Epstein was a intelligence asset working for our adversaries.
There's a very good possibility that Jeffrey Epstein was an asset. Still no information on Jeffrey Epstein being an asset. And in my chat over on Twitter, all of my comments are from the same anti-Semites that go, and we know it's the Jews. It's the Jews. So far, what we know is the U.S. government has said that if they are working with a government, that they were working for an adversary that is not Israel. They're probably going to pin this whole thing on Qatar. And then all of my chat goes, I'll bet they're going to protect the Jews by blaming Qatar. So I'm just giving you guys the language that's being used and all this stuff already. But Anna Paula Luna doesn't know. She goes, I've heard this.
But also, too, I think the questions that we have is how much did our own government know about it? And so there's more to follow, and I'm sure you'll be hearing from the chairman momentarily.
How much did our government know about it, guys? How much did Trump know about it? Trump said it was a hoax and that it was a Democrat thing, Democrat hoax. That's what Trump said. That's what our government said. That covers us from 2016 to 2020, and that covers us from 2024 till now. And the Biden administration, we don't know what they knew. What do you think Biden knew about it? I don't think Biden knew he was even president.
I do applaud the victims from coming forward, because we heard from a woman who was as young as 14 years old when she was victimized multiple times by Jeffrey Epstein. So that's hard to hear.
So the youngest victim was 14. We all knew that already. The youngest was 14. Most of them were 17 and a half, 18, 17 years old. 14 and a half, we knew, was victimized by Epstein. Epstein's dead. No justice is coming for Epstein. He's dead. Ghislaine Maxwell was in a maximum security prison, a terrible prison, but the Democrats and Republicans demanded she get moved to an easy country club resort type prison so that they could get her testimony. So the only other person that we know of who is guilty of abusing these girls is Ghislaine Maxwell, who was given a lighter sentence because she agreed to testify to placate the masses.
Who signed the discharge petition, the Massie discharge petition?
I think that the files will probably be released prior. I don't know why Comer hasn't. I think that he should do it, so it wouldn't even have to come to a vote. But
why do you think Comer hasn't released the files yet? Is he compromised or is he on the Trump agenda?
Obviously, I've been a huge advocate, even when I was the only one in Congress calling for the release of this file. So I think I'd be happy to, yes. Thank you.
What do they call for the victims? Do they want those files released?
The victims want information to be out there, but they don't want their personal information, I think, for good reason to be out there. So I think from the get-go,
the victims don't want the information out there to protect themselves. And now I'm going to show you some talk shows that feature all the victims making hush money, doing book deals, and looking pretty happy as supermodels to blow this thing up. They want the information out there. Trump said he wants the information out there. He wants a transparent thing, but he's kind of throwing a side issue going like, yeah, fine, I don't care. You know, it doesn't affect me at all.
Even the Attorney General has stated that there's victim information that you have to make sure that's private, being that some of the victims also too are as young as 14, that it's child pornography. No, thank you guys.
Yeah, the victims don't want to show videos of them on video servicing people. Here's Tim Burchett, another one on this whole thing, which I find very interesting. I love hearing from everyone. Here's Tim Burchett.
These ladies were mistreated, of course, by Epstein and Maxwell, but also mistreated by our government. And we got to rethink the whole files thing. Apparently, there's some files that they don't want out.
We got to rethink the files thing. Before we wanted them out, now we don't want them out to protect the victims. And so far, the only names named are Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein, and our government victimized them, he's saying. Is that the Trump administration, Tim Burchett? Sorry.
I've said all along, we need to protect these young ladies, well, they're ladies. I guess they were young, they're kids when it happened. So, we need to make sure we do that. And I think we're going to get there. I think we're going to get to the right spot where we can release everything that needs to be released. But again, in our rush to do this, we have to protect these ladies and these others that were involved.
So he's changing his tune. He went from release everything to, hey, in our rush to release this information, we have to protect these victims. When they started hearing their abuse stories, they're going, we're not going to re-abuse these victims. Or we're going to be, the people demanding information are going to be the ones who re-abuse child victims. For people to go, I can't believe you want to protect this child victim. No, you're protecting them by protecting their identity for a mistake they made when they were maybe 16 years old.
Is that what they were advocating for in there, to keep some things private?
Yeah, because I asked specifically, it wasn't really a question and answer, but they made a statement and I asked specifically about certain files. I don't want to disclose too much because obviously, but yeah, I think we need to protect these young ladies.
Are you still going to sign up to Massie's discharge petition?
I got to clarify that we can protect what they need protected.
So just so you guys can see, this reveals everything to me. Tim Burchett is like, we have to release all files. It's the same accusation they made at Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino. You said on your desk you had a list and you were going to release it. Well, then they look at the evidence. He had a look at the evidence and he said, holy cow, we can't rush this thing out. Our new goal is to protect the victims. That's what's putting the brakes on this thing. People are going like, there's no justice. It's a cover up. It's a cover up to protect victims where there's, probably videos of them being sodomized. They're like, I just don't want that out in public. Okay. This is how bad it is. I want to show you guys, because this to me is the key video to this whole thing. This is Nancy Mace, who herself is a victim of the R word. Watch her when she comes out of this thing. We'll tell you everything. And she does not grandstand. She's not doing a book deal. She's not raising money as a Republican. Watch her face as she walks out of this thing. No questions answered, crying. Look at that face. This is a victim of abuse. Shaking her head, no, I will not answer a question. That's what we're trying to protect. Big picture. I hope you guys can all see that this is more important than people going to jail. You do not want to re-victimize these people. She can't take it. And of course, the politics are all lining up against who? They're all Speaker Mike Johnson and Comer. There's Comer in the background there. This is a call to act breaking. The White House just slammed the massive Epstein discharge petition as a very hostile act to the administration. Hours earlier, Speaker Mike Johnson called Trump the most transparent president in memory, probably in the history of this country. Here's what's actually happening. Rep. Thomas Massie's discharge petition could force a House floor vote on the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which would require the DOJ to release all unclassified Epstein-related documents, the 200. And they're saying that Mike Johnson and Comer are part of a cover-up conspiracy.
I've spoken to the president myself about this many times, and he is insistent as we are. He is the most transparent president in memory, probably in the history of the country. As you know, he stops. If he were here now, he would stand here and take your questions endlessly. That's his mindset. And he wants the American people to have information so they can draw their own conclusions. I've talked with him about this very subject myself, so I can tell you that is his heart. Now, he also, just as we do, is insistent that we protect the innocent victims, and that's what this has been about.
And that's what is in conflict. Now, people, of course, idiots, jump in and say, Mike Johnson's compromised with the Jews and AIPAC, and Comer and Trump. They really don't, Mike Johnson isn't, yes, he is. He's MAGA. He's Trump's right-hand man. He's a good spokesman. Here's more. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer. I can tell you from listening. Well, I'll let him say it. How's that? Let's let him talk.
We're not going to leave any stone unturned and do everything we can. I think it's, I think you see both parties. The fact that Mike Johnson sat in there for 2.5 hours listening. I mean, we're serious about this, and we want to not only get the American people the information they want. Everybody wants to know who some of the people were that were on the island. They want to know, was the government involved? But I can tell you from listening to the 6 survivors in there today that the government has failed them because they've reported this to the FBI, they've testified, they've given depositions, and a lot of the people that they implicated were never charged for anything. So we're going to do everything we can to make this right for the victims, as well as get the American people the transparency.
I believe him. He says we're going to give transparency to the American people. He said the government failed them. These people went to the FBI and they did nothing. And he's saying we're going to find out if there's a government involved. Is it us? According to the Democrats, the Trump administration and Republicans are covering this thing up to cover our people up. Here's from the Democrats, Rep. Robert Garcia. Do you believe, Comer, that Trump's being transparent? Here's Rep. Garcia.
2 things. One is Donald Trump has the power right now to release all of the Epstein files and documents right now.
It's Trump. Look at the bald lady in the back on the left there. It's Trump. Jasmine Crockett. Do these look like sympathetic, nice people to you? Are these people interested in the truth and victims? It's Trump. He could release it. It's Trump. This is Democrat marketing. They've never been happier. They are getting off on this. They're going, we finally can step all over Trump's accomplishments. We're going to run the media for the next 6 months on this juicy thing.
DOJ is refusing to release the documents that have been subpoenaed. So there is a White House cover-up at the very highest level in getting the American public the information.
It's the DOJ. It's Pam Bondi. It's Pam Bondi, everyone. Are you believing this? Are you repeating the Democrat talking points? Whole lot of people on the right are. Democrats, I got to hand it to you guys. You succeeded. You really divided MAGA. You split us in half 50-50. You've got half of them accusing the government of part of the cover-up. Hats off. Good strategy. Not true, but it's a good strategy.
To bring justice to these victims. And I think it's very important.
Oh, yeah, you care. And just as they care about the victims. They don't care about the molesting victims when it's the teachers union, when it's teachers abusing kids and they move them to another district without charging them. They just move them to another job to abuse them further. They don't care about victims when it's 300,000 illegal aliens released to people that are not their parents here in the country and they vanish. This person here does not care about Vic. That's one thing I know.
For everyone to understand that. The second thing that's important
marketing
is in the days ahead. We already know we're going to hear from some of the victims tomorrow. We're going to be hearing from other victims in other ways in the days and weeks ahead.
They're setting up victims against Trump and against Republicans. Pay to play. This is another E. Jean Carroll, guys. This is E. Jean Carroll. I don't remember. We already said from Anna Paulina, they don't remember the exact time. They just need someone to fill in the day for them. This is E. Jean Carroll. I don't remember what year it was I was attacked. They're going to bring out these victims who are going to get $20 million book deals. How much money do you think anyone would get paid right now if they bring up Trump's name or a prominent Republican of any kind? How much money will Reid Hoffman give them? How much money will Letitia James give them? How much money will Act Blue give them? How much money will the Democrat National Convention give them after they invented the Steele dossier to run up against Trump and Russia? Democrats are giddy. That ought to make you and I pretty concerned. This is the only thing they've had in media to run on. They have nothing else.
It is very important that we believe these women, that we believe these survivors.
Not the Clinton, not people that Clinton abused. We don't believe those women. Juanita Broderick, who I follow on Twitter. They don't believe her. They don't believe Tara Reid, who claimed Biden abused her. They do not believe women. Don't you believe this, guys? They don't want to believe these victims. They think they're getting some juicy meat on some Republicans or Republican allies.
We honor that, and we work to bring them justice. Two things. One is...
Yeah, okay. So that's the fraud Democrats we already know. But who's joining the fraud Democrats? Here's Thomas Massie. Trump hater Thomas Massie. He looks like he's on steroids. I've never seen him this excited.
Well, the question is, why are they doing a pressure?
Look at...
Why are they doing that? Why do they? Because they don't want the files released. Look...
He's talking about Republicans. Why are Republicans dragging in their feet? Look at Thomas Massie. He's so smug here. Because they don't want the files released. They're protecting themselves.
If my legislation were redundant, why would the White House be trying to stop it?
The White House is trying to stop it. Look at that smile, guys. He hates Trump. Thomas Massie is anti-Trump. He wants to take over MAGA and bring it over to the libertarian side. I got you dummies. I got half of MAGA. You're suckers.
It's not redundant. Oh, yeah. There are things that the White House doesn't want out there.
White House.
That my legislation would cause to be released. And that, even the White House doesn't believe that the Oversight Committee is.
Even the White House is in on it, according to Massie. We got more Massie. I'm just hoping you guys see. I'm giving you all the evidence. All the evidence. This is an anti-White House thing. The Epstein files is an anti-White House thing. That's why Thomas Massie's excited. I think Anna Paulina is a sucker. I think Comer's a sucker. I don't think Trump's already said we're not doing this. Pam Bongino. And then what does everyone say? They go, oh, they've been purchased by the Jews.
The president's called it a hoax.
He's called it a hoax. I hope he doesn't say that after tomorrow when 10 of the survivors testify in public. That would be very disrespectful.
The president called it a hoax, and then Thomas Massie goes, I hope he doesn't say that after tomorrow's testimony of 10 survivors, even though Thomas Massie doesn't know what they're going to say. He doesn't know the testimony hasn't happened yet. Everyone has all of the facts. All they have to wait for is for them to catch out and come out. So though he doesn't know, he's going, I hope Trump doesn't call it a hoax after tomorrow. That's a threat. That's a threat. He's finally going to wrestle this party away from Trump. Here's more Democrats on how bad the Republicans are. This is Rep. Yasmin Ansari, Democrat Oversight Committee.
There is so much to the story that nobody knows. There are decades worth of stories and information, and a cover-up of this capacity.
It's a cover-up, but no one knows what the information is. No one's released anything, not one factoid.
To have allowed for the abuse of over 1,000 women over the course of decades, and then stories that demonstrate that.
Over a course of decades. So is she going to call out Obama and Biden? Is she going to call out Obama and Biden because that would the decades would cover them? Or is it just Trump?
Epstein and others were able to perpetuate the abuse beyond, even after the public knew. We know there's a lot more to this. And I think
public knew, but there's more to it, even though we don't know what more to it.
I think that this is the most corrupt administration in American history.
Oh, it's this administration. It's the Trump administration is the most corrupt. Are you guys getting it yet? Has anyone cracked the code and figured it out? Or are you still following all those other channels that are trying to get you off and get you all excited about the Epstein files are going to be Great. This is awesome strategy, guys. We're finally getting justice for the children from people who do not care about children. She's for aborting children at the 8th month in the womb. This person's for children. Total cover up, 300,000 missing children. She's excited about victims. Oh, they're excited about victims because they're going to get Trump. This the most corrupt administration is the Trump administration.
This story shows it more than anything. So
story more than anything. We're going to run this marketing, guys. Who here? Have you unsubscribed to my channel yet? I'll lose 100 subscribers on this. They'll go, Doug, you're part of when did the Jews get to you? When did AIPAC? Are they funding this channel? I've had people accuse me of that. I'm just saying, why is a Democrat so excited, guys? They care about victims.
Keep fighting in honor of the survivors who are brave enough to put themselves out there for truth and justice. And we will not back down until there is full accountability and prevention from this ever happening again.
CNN, man, they're just chomping at the bit. These are good times for CNN. Here's Rep. Jim McGovern, also more Democrats.
I got to tell you, I think what's going on here today is the Republicans are terrified.
Oh,
the president doesn't want to release all the files.
Oh, the president. It's Trump. MAGA's terrible. MAGA covering up child trafficking.
I mean, after promising that he would release them during the campaign.
Oh, yeah.
Then he issued, that was in 2024. And then
he sounds like my chat. He sounds like all the people unsubscribing right now. They're repeating Democrat talking points.
2025, he says, it's all a big hoax.
Yeah.
It's perpetrated by Democrats and some stupid Republicans.
Yeah.
So when you say all Republicans want this stuff released, I don't think that guy does.
That's right. I don't. Trump has said, be transparent. You can release it, but protect the victims. I don't want victims re-victimized.
And what you're telling us that you're going to release some of the files tonight, if I heard Mr. Garcia correctly, 97% of which is already out in public. Why can't the administration just release the files? Trump and the people he put in charge of the FBI and the DOJ promised that they would. And it's just kind of strange that they haven't done so yet. I mean, don't you think?
Yeah,
I mean, we just want to know, what are they trying to hide? Well, why is this such a difficult thing for them to do?
Because it's very difficult for us to re-victimize victims, to release video of a 14-year-old having a sex with a hairy-backed 50-year-old, some Saudi Arabian prince, that more damage can be done. All I know is you don't care about justice, and I know this. Here's Congresswoman Mary Gay Scannion, also a Democrat on the Rules Committee, saying, why would this, now she's blaming this administration, the Trump administration. We got suckered on releasing the Ghislaine Maxwell being moved to a minimum security prison. So remember, they're going like, she offered testimony if she got this easier prison sentence. Then we gave her the minimum security prison sentence. And she gave us nothing, not one new fact, other than saying Trump was involved at all. And she's going, why did they? She's blaming Trump. Here goes. You ready? We're being suckered.
Ghislaine Maxwell getting this cushy assignment. My understanding is that when she was moved to this new facility, that was against Bureau of Prison regulations, and someone higher up from the White House or the Attorney General's office would have had to excuse that normal Bureau of Prison.
It's the White House and Pam Bondi. So first MAGA attacks the White House and Pam Bondi and goes, we got to hear from Maxwell. And they go, okay, fine. Well, you know, her negotiation is you have to get her in this other prison before she'll talk. So then Pam Bondi and Trump, reluctantly, though they keep saying it's a hoax and a distraction, fine, they move her there. Nothing comes out, of course, because there's nothing to see. And then a Democrat comes and goes, why is the White House? So then they get attacked from the other side. So they get attacked from the pro-Epstein MAGA side, or they get attacked by Democrats. And this is going to be an attack by Democrats. Trump goes, I did not want to give all these sharp weapons to the other side to stab me with. He'll probably end up in prison. This could be the end of the MAGA agenda if we're not careful. That's why I'm warning you guys. Going, keep your eye on the ball of Trump's accomplishments. And because this is Democrats on steroids.
Rule.
Yeah, you guys did this. Now, got to hear from the victims. This is my comment on it. Here's Mike Singles says, us survivors know this is the victim all dolled up in makeup on a talk show on NBC. Epstein survivors reveal they're compiling their own client list. And I wrote, the victims had 20 years to release their own list of clients to save other victims who could have been damaged by them. And it never occurred to them to do that until now. This is another, in my view, this is another E. Jean Carroll. Here's one of the, but I'm not pro, stomping on victims, but this victim is on TV. She doesn't want to go anonymous and have her name redacted. By the way, many of the victims got multi-million-dollar plea deals to not say anything.
So what would you say to the Department of Justice as they were pursuing these conversations with her?
Yeah, what would you say to Pam Bondi?
They have emails, they have flight logs, they have a list they've compiled, right? And I feel like if they're not going to release this list to the public that everybody wants to see, we want to know who it is. A lot of us survivors know. We've been compiling lists of our own, and we have so many other survivors. Please come forward, and we'll compile our own list and seek justice for, on our own.
Yeah, we don't know about a list, but we know that it's out there. We want other victims, though we don't know what happened. We want you to come out and be part of our list. We're going to put together our own list. You haven't put together a list in 20 years, and you could have gone after child predators, released a list of clients, made it public. You were free to do it, and you don't do it till this week when Trump starts getting accomplishments. Here's Rep. Jim Govern on Thomas Massie's release. I just signed Thomas Massie's discharge disposition to force a vote on the Epstein files. If Speaker Mike Johnson wants to block it, he has a fight on his hands and a lot of explaining to do. These are Republicans fighting Republicans now. Congratulations, everybody. You did it. Thomas Massie, it's filed. Your congressman can now sign the discharge petition to force a vote on binding legislation to release the Epstein file. Release them. Gee, I haven't heard that before. They're releasing 33,000 files, and they're like, release more. It's not enough. This thing's ongoing. More Thomas Massie on release the files.
Says jobs, the economy. Those are always the big issues.
He's saying Trump says jobs and economy are always the big issues, but he sees a bigger issue. Do you?
You really can't solve any of that if this place is corrupt.
So now Thomas Massie in front of the White House and the Capitol building, the White House is corrupt. This place is corrupt. Forget about jobs. Forget about Trump's agenda, what he's doing this week. This place is corrupt. Thomas Massie, Rhino.
But if this place is corrupt.
Well, I mean, if they're going to cover up for rich and powerful and politically connected people, which
Trump.
is still what is happening right now here.
Are you worried about the blowback that you're facing from the White House, from the president? He continues to attack you for taking steps like this.
Look, I got 3 billionaires right now running ads against me in Kentucky, and one of them's in Epstein's black book. So I'm not worried about it. I've already poked.
Did you hear that? Trump said to primary Thomas Massie, and Thomas Massie says he's got 3 billionaires writing ads against him, and one of them's, it's about Epstein. They're really trying to, Trump and his billionaire buddies are trying to cover up Epstein. I don't believe that 1 second. Sorry, I'm MAGA. Bye, everybody. I'm MAGA. Sorry. Don't believe this guy. Trump and he have had conflict forever. That's what this is about. This is about the politics of personal destruction. He is seeking revenge on Trump. CNN, look at CNN giving him a microphone. CNN's going to give Thomas Massie, Republican from Kentucky, all the time he wants. He's doing their job. Democrats can't find anything to win. They finally found something, Thomas Massie.
Hornet's nest here. And, once you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. We're going to get these files released.
And Massie was sharply critical about an effort by Speaker Johnson to put a resolution on the House floor that would essentially support this ongoing investigation by the House Oversight Committee. He called that resolution.
Speaker Johnson said we're going to do an ongoing investigation. Thomas Massie is against Mike Johnson doing that, claiming it's all their way. Let's hear from another Democrat. They sound a whole lot like Thomas Massie.
I want to say to anyone out there who is currently experiencing abuse of any kind, we see you.
We see you. Unless you're an illegal, we see you. Unless you're being molested by a teacher in a school union, we see you. Otherwise, we don't see you. 300,000 illegals, we don't see you.
are here fighting for you.
No, you're not.
And we will fight for justice for every person who is experiencing sexual violence in this country. And that is what this case is actually about. But I want to be clear that what we heard today is a cover-up. And it is a cover-up of epic proportions, a cover-up involving the United States government, the justice system, rich and powerful individuals, a cover-up potentially involving foreign countries and foreign actors. And yes, here today in this House, as our colleagues are up in the House chamber in the Rules Committee, a cover-up by the Republicans in this chamber.
It's the Republicans. It's Mike Johnson in the chamber and Trump and Pam Bondi and Chuck Grassley is the cover-up. She's Thomas Massie in a dress.
Because as you will find out in the coming days and weeks, this goes all the way to the top.
Oh, the Trump administration. It goes all the way to Donald Trump. Do you see it? They're telling you. Believe them when they tell you. This goes I could go on and on with this stuff all day, guys. This is a giant mess. I've never seen the Democrats this happy in a long time.
I've learned in my 2.5 years that it is impossible to put yourself in the head of the Republican majority and the leaders of the Republican Party. They continue to come up with different ways of caving to Donald Trump, of doing whatever he wants.
Covering up.
Mike Johnson shut down Congress a week early because he didn't even want to deal with these Epstein files.
Mike Johnson's in on it, guys. Get Mike Johnson. Get Mike Johnson. He's a rhino. Do you see why I understand that Mike Johnson is a huge threat to Democrats? He's Trump's right-hand man. Trump is the greatest threat, and they see an opportunity to divide MAGA. Don't fall for it. Mike Johnson is not a rhino. Pam Bondi is not a rhino. Dan Bongino's not a rhino. This guy does not care about victims or the Epstein files. They have to this is Trump derangement syndrome, hiding behind victims of child abuse.
But the fact of the matter is this is a cover-up. This is a massive cover-up. They're not just stonewalling. They're trying to do it through charades and sleight of hand, so to speak, but they are covering something up. This Donald Trump was hot to trot, and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino were leading the charge to release the Epstein files. Yep. Now, all of a sudden, they don't want them released. They are trying to hide something. And by releasing these documents, most of which have been released before, others will not have any relevance.
The only thing the Democrat knows that if Trump wants to cover it up, we have to release it. Now, I have been saying for a long time, the real victims are alive today, not of Epstein, of child abuse. No one's done more than Kash Patel and Donald Trump to actually end current child abuse because they care.
1,500 kilograms of fentanyl is enough to kill 115 million Americans. 115 million Americans. Cops are getting after it. The FBI has arrested 19,000 people this year alone. Thanks to President Trump's administrations, that's double than where we were this time last year. And we have also arrested 1,600 people who have committed violent acts against children. 270 of them are human traffickers of children. Mr. President, this is what happens when you have great leadership at the Attorney General with Pam.
They have already ended more child abuse than all of the Epstein victims combined just in Trump's first 7 months. So this administration actually does something about current people who are violent against children and trafficking children. 10 times more victims have been saved by the current Trump administration than 20 years of playing Epstein files. He doesn't have to qualify to me that he cares about children. I stand with Trump, Bongino, Pam Bondi. I do not stand with Thomas Massie, who's using politics to exact revenge on Trump, and the Democrat Party that are now running a media narrative, and the media just loves it because they think you and I are stupid. We're not. We're not going to fall for this. I'm Doug in Exile.